I just want to start today's podcast by saying thank you very much for everyone who has listened to the podcast so far. For me, it's massively overwhelming and a huge achievement to get to 30 episodes on the podcast. And yeah, I can't tell you how much this podcast has changed my life. So yeah, thank you for listening. We're over 5,000 listeners now, so I'm super, super pleased with that. And this guest is another awesome guest to add to the ones we've already had on the show. And I've got some more exciting ones lined up as well. So very exciting times for the Be More podcast. I hope you're getting some value from it. Without further ado, here we have episode 30 with the legend that is Adam Saez, and he's sharing some information and some insight into how turning vegan has literally transformed his life. This is the Be More podcast. I am your host, Jack Williams, and this is a show all about health, nutrition, mindset, and performing at our very best. And this is going to be your catalyst to being more. Welcome to episode 31 of the Be More podcast, and today I'm joined by Mr. Adam Saez. Did I pronounce that right?
Saez.
Damn it. So yeah. I met Adam in Sydney in February this year. I was quite intrigued by your story. I was asking you loads of questions. We went for a dinner basically with a friend in common, a mutual friend, and yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff you've been doing recently on social media. I want to get you on the podcast, so mate, in 1 minute, I always ask my guests to do this. Can you give us your life story in 1 minute? Let's do it.
Okay. So I kind of grew up with very hyperactive. My parents needed to put me through a lot of sports to kind of settle me down a bit. So I grew up doing loads of sports: football, cricket, hockey, sort of main ones. After a while, after kind of high school, I decided I wanted to continue that sort of fitness direction. I started a fitness course and realized I didn't know anything about the gym. All I knew was sports. So I started learning about the gym, learning about how to talk to people. I was very intrigued by the sort of business aspect of things. So I went on to continue my studies into business management. So then I kind of combined the fitness and business aspect of things, and wanted to become a personal trainer, grow my business. Started in 2012, started my business. Really grew that in Brookvale, Australia. And then eventually I kind of wanted a change of pace and bring things up a little bit. Moved to London, where I learned a little bit more about sort of a plant-based diet, and eventually became vegan through just some research and watching interesting videos on YouTube and stuff like that. And now I like to think that I encourage a plant-based diet towards all my clients and people that I work with, even friends and family a bit. Yeah.
Nailed it, mate. Nailed it. Awesome. So when we obviously met first and you spoke about the plant-based diet, I was very close-minded about that and about a lot of things anyway. And this was only a few months ago. And since then, obviously, I basically am super intrigued now to ask more questions. So I asked you a lot of questions back then, didn't I? So
I think we all were, first of all. I think we were all kind of just very close-minded. I was the same as you anyway.
Yeah, so you was obviously in great shape. You were in great shape before eating meat. Obviously, I've got so many questions in my head right now, but one, we'll start with the vegan questions.
Sure.
And also, what made you move from Australia to London? But let's start with the vegan questions. So, did you not feel great, or was there a reason that made you want to change? Because normally a change comes from desperation, or were you just intrigued?
I think it's important to understand why you're going vegan. For me, there's three main reasons to go vegan. You've got the environmental factor, which I don't know, is very debatable for some people. Does it contribute to global warming? Does it not? It's very you're not sure. You've got the ethical reason, which is for the animals, which is quite obvious. Everyone agrees that you have to murder animals to eat them, right? There's no denying that. And then there's the third aspect for me, which is my own personal health. So you've got environmental, then for the animals, and then you've got for your own health as well. My primary reason was environmental reasons. To be honest, I could kind of see what it was doing to the environment. I could see what it's going to do for our next generation of kids as well. I didn't want to contribute to that. The next bit was obviously the ethical reason. I don't think we needed to kind of eat animals to it's also not my right to kind of eat animals. And if I was going to eat animals, I think I would much rather do it myself and have to I don't know, hunt an animal myself. And the last one, a bit of a bonus, I guess I could kind of really see the benefits towards my own health. I started off kind of thinking, doing a lot of research. I got a lot of insight from a guy called Vegan Gains on YouTube. Lots of people have watched his stuff before. And he's got a very aggressive approach to things. But I kind of took a lot of what he said on board, especially the scientific point of views. I kind of just started becoming what I called a reducitarian, which is I was just kind of slowly cutting out animal products. So for 2 months, I decided to just stop eating meat altogether. I noticed I was eating a lot more dairy and eggs, and I just felt really shit, especially the dairy. I was just getting loads of acne on my back, and I just felt very heavy, and I just didn't feel good. I then kind of told myself, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do this for 4 weeks. And I did a little bit of a sort of Instagram story and commitment to that, where I said to myself, I'm going to commit for 4 weeks and see what happens to mainly my performance and my physique as well. After 4 weeks, my performance and physique didn't change at all. I felt a bit more mentally clear. Like I just felt like all the acne had gone down, everything. I felt so much better for myself. I didn't feel like any sort of inner guilt. It's kind of like a small amount, but that kind of, again, really allowed me to even just improve my physique and performance because I had a clear mind and I knew I had to go, okay, shit, one more set, okay, one more rep. Like I had that sort of extra push in my head to go a bit further. That's kind of how I started. And then after the 4 weeks, a lot of my friends were messaging me saying, how'd it go? How'd the vegan thing go? Did you miss meat? Are you back to eating steaks and stuff? And I said, look, mate, I didn't find any difference, so I've just continued and stuck to it. And that's how I just went vegan eventually.
So I was going to say, was it like I'm now going vegan, I'm not doing this anymore, or you said it was a gradual process, you reduced your meat?
It was a little bit cold turkey. I guess I say I was reducing, and then one day I just said, I'm going to commit for 4 weeks. And after that, it was, I kind of just stuck to it. So, yeah.
And how long ago was this?
October 13th. So 8 months now, just over 8 months.
8 months. And what's the difference in your physique now?
It's cleaner, like as in like the sort of bumps and stuff from pimples and stuff that I had, I guess is a lot smoother. It's a lot more filled out. A lot of people said I look a bit more fuller. It's probably because the ratio of my macronutrients have increased in carbohydrates. So my carbohydrates are a bit higher, so I kind of like look a bit more fuller in a good way. Physique wise, like again, I'm more in a sort of bulk phase, so I'm still growing. I'm still getting stronger. I feel great. My sort of approach to my goals really changed. Like when I was eating meat, I was very, very obsessed with sort of bodybuilding. I was very, very just like, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. What I mean by that is like when I was obsessed with it, I was very, very into weightlifting. It was just kind of just all about looking good. When I started to shift plant-based, I wanted to kind of learn how my body worked a bit more. So I did a bit more calisthenics movements. So I did more like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, pistol squats. I started learning how to do pistol squats. And yeah, I thought it was quite interesting to myself to just notice that I wasn't interested in sort of bodybuilding anymore. I was more interested in finding out how my body worked. So yeah.
That's cool. So we've both gone through that kind of phasing out of bodybuilding in the last probably 12 months. So that's something we've definitely got in common.
Yeah, exactly right. More towards performance, I think. Yeah.
100%. And you're enjoying that training more so now?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've done 4 competitions now on stage. And it's so difficult, like that preparation, dieting down. I know a lot of people who haven't done a competition before don't really understand it, but I find that's way more difficult than say doing a powerlifting or a calisthenics or any sort of performance exercise, because you get to eat a lot more. You get to kind of have mental health there, but with physique, not really. So yeah, like I said, just shifting more towards performance is just way better for me.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of like untold secrets about the whole competing world, which we could touch on another podcast, I think. So
yeah, absolutely.
this is more about like we're more concerned with general performance, and I think that as personal training is a lot more appealing to our market as well versus getting shredded to the point where we can't even get a bloody hard on anymore, and like there's no things in the supermarket that we can eat anymore unless it's chicken, broccoli. Do you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be interesting to see if you could obviously go and compete like as a vegan and see the results you get versus eating meat, which would be.
Really thought about that actually. Yeah, I really.
That would be cool, but it's interesting that you said, are you stronger now that you're vegan compared to when you were eating meat?
I'd say I am. Yeah, I'd say consistently the same, like consistently growing the same. I'm not going to sit here and say it's 10 times better, but I was consistently getting better when I was eating meat. I went vegan and the consistency stayed exactly the same. And like I said, if not a bit better, just because of my, just feeling clear-minded.
Nice. And you're a macro tracker, aren't you?
Not at the moment, no. So I kind of, since going vegan as well, I've been eating more ad libitum and just been kind of freely eating. And if anything, I'll count my calories just because I know the sort of foods that I'm eating at the moment are more wholesome and I guess healthier as well. I'm not going to sit here as well say that I eat only healthy food. I eat loads of great junk food as well. But I will kind of, at the moment, just eat whatever I feel necessary. And yeah.
Nice. So we've both done that recently then. So, because I used to be a massive macro tracker. Now, like you said, I eat much more intuitively, and I just find my general physique year round. Like I'm not bulking, so we've not got that in common. But I feel like, yeah, that's my relationship with food, like my physique, my performance, everything just seems to be better. But I think you've almost got to go through the trenches a little bit and track macros for a period to build up your level of education around nutrition anyway, which is what we've done.
Yeah.
So I still recommend it to people when they come on board with me, etc. And you probably do the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
With regards to protein intake, we spoke about this a little bit in Sydney. How do you find like your protein intake is now versus what it was before? So I can imagine you're probably having a little bit less.
Yeah.
But you're still aiming for about 150 grams a day, is that right?
Yeah, I'd say, to be honest, like I said, I haven't really worked it out for a while, but I do eat a substantial amount. The last time I actually tracked my calories, I was doing a competition here in the UK, and I wasn't tracking before I prepared, and I had 3 weeks before competition, so I chucked myself straight onto 3,000 calories. Now, I lost 5 kilos in like a week, which wasn't very healthy, but it kind of really gave me perspective that 3,000 calories is nowhere near my sort of maintenance level. I was estimating it to be like between 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day.
How active are you in London then? Are you just always on the go?
Sorry?
That's crazy high. What are you doing with regards to? Because normal people will hear that and they'll be like, wow, I can eat 4,000 calories a day and maintain. No. Yeah.
I need to put a disclaimer in there. I cycle to work. I am quite active, so I cycle to work. I have many clients throughout the day. Also, I'm commuting to central London. My sort of way of working with clients, I'm quite proactive with them, so I'll actually be demonstrating things to make sure that they're a bit more accurate in their movements, give them proper demonstrations and stuff. So I guess that's the sort of extra calorie burn there. My personal workouts will take about an hour or two, depending on the sort of day that I've got. So I'll take a solid chunk of workout. Up to 2 hours. And then, of course, cycling back home. I usually like to go out with friends and stuff like that. So, again, I'm quite still active on my feet, yeah.
Do you wear an Apple Watch?
I do, actually, yeah.
What's your average steps per day?
Oh, mate, I have no idea. I only use it for business, to be honest. For me, it's about being able to check my clients on there, like who I've got appointments. I don't really use it for the fitness aspect.
Nice. And
see
if you can find it, because that must be crazy high.
When I was back home, actually, in Australia at some point, I had the default settings, and it was doing something like 3,000 calories a day, just on an average day. And I don't know how it wasn't that I don't actually wear my watch during my workouts just because I find it quite difficult on my wrist. Again, wasn't even including my workouts, so. Mate, I can't find it on here. I'll ask my mate. He's got he knows everything about Apple Watch. Yeah.
No worries. Talk us through your protein sources now then.
So probably more lentils, beans. I'm not a very good cook, so I usually get like these frozen vegan sausages from downstairs. Like I said, mate, like I don't really look into my protein too much, and I haven't really found that to be an issue. Like, I think protein is just a little bit overrated. It's very important, like, don't get me wrong. I just think people just overcomplicate it too much, to be honest, especially like when you consider things like carbohydrates being a great, like, even though protein is what you use to kind of build muscle, carbohydrates is what helps maintain muscle. So for me, it's the sort of high protein, high carbs at the moment. Fats I'm really not concerned about. I think just a low fat intake is going to be quite healthy for you anyway. And I'm just trying to think myself. I eat out a lot, so yeah, lentils, beans, like I said.
And do you find there's always like a vegan option on the menu when you do eat out?
Oh yeah, absolutely, especially in London.
Yeah.
Straight wasn't too bad.
We had a burger, didn't we, when we went for dinner?
Oh mate,
you had that vegan burger.
That was the best vegan burger I've ever had, honestly. Like, I was eating it and I was like, this is beef. Like, there's no way. There's no way that this is plant-based. It was bleeding and everything, mate. It was amazing.
That was a good burger.
It was such a great burger. But yeah, no, I don't find it difficult at all, especially because I'm very much someone who likes to kind of go and discover new places. So
do you supplement with leucine as well or not?
Sorry?
Do you supplement with leucine?
Leucine, no.
You don't?
No. I can show you my stack if you want.
What do you use, just out of interest?
My favourite thing at the moment by far has got to be like a pre-workout. I'll have it with creatine without failure. Like, creatine for me is the opposite of a placebo, honestly. It's just, I really notice it. Especially yesterday, I didn't even have any creatine. I could already start to feel my sort of, I don't know, for me, creatine just really makes a big difference. And I've got citrulline malate, which is more of a pump product. So I don't know much about the kind of scientific research behind it in regards to performance, but during a workout, I'll blow up a bit. So
yeah, that's just a vasodilator, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I'll be able to kind of motivate myself to push a bit harder. As a joke, a few people have gotten me B12, so I've got B12 up there. Honestly, I think I've taken it twice. I was taking L-carnitine. I kind of just, because I'm more in a bulk phase at the moment, that wasn't really necessary for me anymore. And then I've recently just started working with my clients. He sells CBD oil, the one without THC in it. So I've actually got something to help me kind of sleep better as well. And I find that's just been amazing in regards to my sort of recovery. Yeah.
Interesting. So anything more you want to touch on with regards to the vegan stuff?
And
if you've got people that are like, obviously, I'm more open-minded now, and I'm definitely going to try it at some point.
Yeah.
So, like, what advice would you give someone who's thinking about trying it, or like, what would you say you would recommend to people who maybe aren't in our position as well, where we're typically conscious of making good choices, trying to keep protein high, etc. What would you say would be good advice for someone looking to get into the vegan diet?
Yeah, I was thinking about this before. I think they've kind of got it right, doing the whole veganuary thing, like trying to do like a month going vegan, because that's how it worked for me. Like, for me, just going vegan for 1 month really showed me it's a little bit of commitment at first. Like, I was getting kind of roasted by a lot of my mates in regards to going vegan. They just gave me so much crap. But I found like after that sort of month or two phase, people kind of got used to it. They got over it, and you weren't getting the sort of social criticism anymore, which is a big factor for a lot of people. A lot of people are just like, I can't go vegan because I'll get shit from my friends or family. And that should not be a reason to, like, if you think that's the right thing to do, I don't know why you let other outsiders influence that. Kind of a few tips to going vegan. Oh, no, I've got a really big one, actually. The biggest problem I see when people go from non-vegan to vegan is they just go from like really heavy calorie-based dense foods, high fatty steaks, that sort of thing. And then when they go vegan, they tend to go just straight to a salad, which if you think about just doesn't make sense, because you're putting like 1,000 calories to like 100 calories. that person will tend to kind of just be like, okay, this is not sustainable. I'm really hungry all the time. I can't do it. And then they just end up bouncing back. It's not just in vegan world. It's just a lot of things. People just go from one extreme to the other. So that my biggest sort of recommendation with that is to understand how much you're eating now in regards to calories and try and match it. If you're trying to lose weight, I guess you can drop a little bit from that, and it's much easier to do so. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel like you're eating a lot more, which is normal. My big jump as well was I found I had to constantly be eating. Like I was always eating, especially to get in the 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day. I couldn't stop eating. But then you just eventually get used to it, and that's fine. It's part of your routine.
Nice. Yeah. Do you find, like, obviously, when I eat that many calories, I get sleepy. So for me, like, that's another reason why I just like to maintain my physique year round now. So I simply, if I eat too many calories, I get sleepy. Do you still get that when you don't eat meat?
Not as much, not as bad. Like food coma.
Yeah.
I definitely get it. Like, there's a place. If anyone's watching from London, go to Temple of Hackney, and that place is just like the vegan version of KFC. And I just eat so much crap there to the point where I'm just like on the tube back, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm in a food coma. But yeah, it's not as bad. Like I feel like if it was meat based, it would feel a lot shittier. But yeah.
That's interesting. So when you get a Domino's, what do you order?
Domino's, I think, are releasing like 3 or 4 new vegan pizzas. But if I do get Domino's, I would probably just order it with no cheese. And I think I had a veggie back in Australia. I had a veggie pizza with no cheese. It actually turned out really nice. I thought it was going to be shit.
So you're not really a pizza fan then, if you haven't had one since Australia?
I love pizza. What do you mean?
What do you normally get when you get pizza?
I've got, I usually get like a fungi pizza, where it'd be like mushroom pizza or something like that.
Oh, okay, and you say you get no cheese?
Yeah, if it's like a non-vegan place, I'll just order it with no cheese and then just get like a veggie sort of thing. But there's loads of vegan pizza places. Pereza is another one in Camden. If you go on my Instagram, you can actually see that one as well. It's amazing. I had the garlic bread, and then there was a couch potato one, and then a volcano one, which was a chili one. And we actually had Oreo pizza for dessert.
Wow.
Amazing. Honestly, it was the best thing ever. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So ice cream wise, do you just have like non-dairy ice creams?
Yeah, there's loads. There's Ben & Jerry's released the vegan version of Ben & Jerry's.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. I'm not a big fan of almond milk, so I can really kind of taste the almond milk in it. I think off memory as well, they've got fewer calories too. So I don't know, it's a bit more of a dieting Ben & Jerry's. Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So you would say, what was your tips then going into it? It would be, don't be too silly with calories. Where do you go to shop as well? Like, is it all the same places still?
I think it just depends on your sort of lifestyle at the moment. Like before I was vegan, I didn't really do a lot of grocery shopping. I ate out a lot. So right now I go to Tesco salad bar. So I just stock up on loads of rice or pasta, anything on there. That kind of fits my lifestyle. But if you're someone who does big grocery shoppings, do the same thing. Just try and substitute the foods that you're currently getting, which are meat-based, for something that's just not meat-based. Like if I show you here.
Also, where would you go for like recipes and stuff that you obviously you follow the vegan? What's that guy on YouTube?
Simnet, John Venus, or Derek. Who was it?
The main inspiration you went to.
Vegan Gains.
Vegan Gains. Is there anyone else that you follow like to give you recipes or?
Simnet Nutrition is great, Derek. I met him at Veg Fest, and we ended up training together one time. And he's got a great recipe book, from what I've been told as well. I haven't got it, but yeah, he's really taken over with the vegan guide and stuff like that. Especially because he's so muscular, he's so shredded, and he's just got loads of great foods in there as well. Another influence would be like Mike the Vegan on YouTube. He's great as well. He puts very, very easy to understand science research in there. So the biggest problem is someone saying like, you should do this, which makes sense, but there's no backup to it, where you've got Mike, who's kind of like, if someone's talking about science too much, it's just too confusing. It's just like, I don't get it, all these numbers and stuff, where he's like not somewhere nice in the middle, where he explain it very, very simply, and he'll explain it to kind of in layman's terms, so you can understand and have backup for it too. So he was a big influence on me.
Okay, cool. So do you still have clients who eat meat, or are you now very much like, this is the way I like to train people, or are you still open-minded with regards to that?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely still open-minded, especially in regards to everything. If I have someone who's a smoker, I won't tell them to go cold turkey. I'll actually get them to weed off it as well. So I'll be like, okay, cool, you're smoking 20 cigarettes a day. Let's try and have 19 next week and then 18. I find going cold turkey in a lot of things just doesn't work. So all the sort of plans that I give to my clients are all plant-based. However, I will say to them sometimes that, look, if you want the chicken instead of the beans, have the chicken instead of the beans. That's fine. Just substitute it. Put it in there, let me know. Maybe eventually we'll have half and half. We'll have half of it chicken, half of beans. And before you know it, they're going full plant-based.
And have you found that your clients have also seen like the improvements in energy and like the benefits that you've seen? Have they seen that as well? Like, has there been similar testimonials?
Yeah, I'm not as pushy on it as well. Like, I will kind of recommend it. So it's hard for me to say exactly how they've been finding it. But in regards to their performance with me in the gym, they're again consistently getting better. They're improving. If their goal is to lose weight, they'll be losing weight. If their goal is to get stronger, they're all getting stronger as well. And they can really see it. Like for me, I like to kind of represent what I believe in. And if I'm able to do that by having videos on Instagram or photos on Instagram of doing things that people believe isn't possible, then that's kind of my approach of doing it.
Nice. And do you feel like you'll never go back now?
Yeah, I'll never go back for sure. It's not for me, it's not my right to cause suffering and death to animals, so I'll never go back. Yeah.
Interesting. And like, what is your have you got a mission now to try and, because I think the world is kind of going that way, isn't it? Like more people are turning vegan. It's like almost like it's like the cool topic at the moment. Oh, I'm going vegan, you know. What's your mission like? Have you got an aim to try and influence big time with it, or are you more? Yeah, what are your goals?
Yeah, my approach I think is a little bit different to most people. I know a lot of people, especially like in their bios and stuff, they'll put vegan. They'll talk a lot about the vegan thing as well. I've been doing that more and more. Like I said before, my sort of goal is to show people what's done without animal products. So if I can do that without even mentioning the word vegan, without mentioning that, and then someone starts following me and seeing sort of results that I get, and then all of a sudden it pops out that I don't actually eat any animal products and I haven't for a long time, that creates a lot more influence than saying vegan, 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 because then people just kind of just be like, oh, fuck, this guy's going to be annoying. So my sort of goal, the other thing on that is that I don't really think it should be something that you should always be having to talk about. It's like people always kind of joke about the vegans saying, hi, nice to meet you, I'm vegan. Like that sort of joke gets thrown around a lot. But you don't see anyone going around saying, hey, nice to meet you, I don't murder people. No one says that. Like, I think it should be a norm to not eat animal products anymore. Like, it's obviously a minority, but I think it should be a norm to assume a lot of people don't eat animal products anymore, or there should be a sort of vegan option if you are going out to eat. But yeah, that's sort of my approach.
Yeah, I like your approach, because I had someone on the podcast the other day, Holly, and she is vegan, and I didn't even know she was vegan until I checked her Instagram afterwards and was like diving deeper into her posts.
Yeah.
She didn't even mention it, and she did like a 45-minute episode on like how her diet has helped her. Didn't once mention that she was a vegan, so I think that's super cool. Whereas you get other people who are like, hi, I'm vegan, like you said, and I think it's you almost get put into a box, and that's not fair. Like similar to how I've started doing Herbalife, people are saying, oh, you're a Herbalife guy now. I'm not. It's just a supplement that I use.
Yeah.
Just like you would use my protein or whatever you go to use.
Yeah.
But people are very quick to put people in a box, and it's a very closed-minded, obviously, world we live in.
Yeah.
But it's great to see that you're out there actively trying to encourage a positive lifestyle, and it just so happens that if they want to talk about the vegan lifestyle, then you've got experience in it. Yeah. Which is why I want to try it, so I can obviously say, oh, I tried it for a bit. Like I love my meat, but I'm also very... Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to speak to you every day, I think, and just you can coach me through it.
I had a few people give me a bit of guidance as well. So if you ever want any help as well, like more than happy to point in the right direction, especially in regards to food and there's other miscellaneous things as well, like can I buy leather? I don't know, like that's a sort of grey area that a lot of people kind of get into. Yeah.
I'm always trying to look to improve performance, so whatever it might take. Like recently I just quit drinking, for example. Yeah, even these little things I'm trying to do to look after my body better, so I'm never going to rule out something that will make me better. So I'm definitely intrigued. Do you feel like it's made you better as a person?
Yeah, no, it's definitely made me better as a person, especially like to other people as well. Like to other people, I find I'm much, I don't know, I'm not as anxious anymore when I'm meeting people, and I think it's got to do again with having a clear mind. Before I found I was just always trying to rush a conversation, like I've got to do this, I've got to go to client, I've got to do that. I think since having that sort of clear mind and stuff, I'm able to kind of take things a bit slower. And then I've got my next client. I'm like, do you mind holding it a minute while you do your warm up, or just finish off with this client? And they're like, yeah, no problem. So that sort of anxiety sort of in my mind slowed down, and it just feels much, much better. Yeah.
That's interesting, because I'm very much go all the time. Like I know when my car got picked up a minute ago, I was like, really sorry, mate. And I was like trying to rush everything. And really, it's cool. Like you don't have to be so rushed. But it's interesting to hear that. Is it helping you be more present, do you think?
With yourself, you mean like?
Yeah, like do you feel like, because obviously you don't feel as anxious. It's really interesting that having a diet change can have that much of an impact on how you feel mentally, like your mindfulness, all sorts of these stuff.
It really is the cherry on top, I think. Like it's very small, but it makes a big impact to your life, having that sort of clear mind, and that sort of 10% that you're missing in your life. I think it really just finishes it off. Yeah. You
say it's small, but then how many times do you eat a day?
Oh, me? Yeah, like I said, probably 4-5 times a day. I snack a lot.
So it is a big part of your day, really. It's not like a small part. Like it, and that's why we're actively trying to coach people on nutrition, because they can do as much work as they like in the gym. If their diet isn't actively being looked at, because we'll only train 4 or 5 times a week, right? Maybe 6 times at tops. But you're eating that many times in a day.
Yeah.
So you times that by 7, that there's such more room for improvement in the diet to get someone in crazy shape and to get someone to perform mentally better.
Yeah.
A lot of it's in the diet, so it's interesting to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just got to fit your lifestyle, mate. Like if for me, I'm lucky enough to kind of be able to eat whenever I want. Just having clients, I can kind of move things apart. A lot of people, just like my clients, have got very strict 9-to-5 jobs, and they don't have that luxury. For me to be able to make those sort of small changes in their life and just substitute certain things, they can really notice the difference, and that eventually gets them to a point where they're quite happy to stay and maintain, or eventually just take it to the elite level. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think there's a lot of things that we could talk about with regards to body composition and the comparables of our diet. So obviously we used to track calories, track macros, and now we're both very much like intuitive eaters, and the results we see isn't greater or worse in either or. So there's so many things that we could probably teach our listeners and the audience to think. It's very much there's a million ways to skin a cat, and not to fall into a one way fits all approach, and just to realise that as long as what you're doing is fun for you and enjoyable, then it's the best way, because we've done diets, like you said, that have been so difficult to give us that result we're trying to get, and so many people do that. Like you said, they can make these extreme changes and they'll go and eat salad for 2 weeks to try and lose weight, and it's just unsustainable methods to try and get in shape. So I think our stance on that is very, very similar, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Cool. Right, I want to touch on the move. So obviously I've done a lot of travelling around Australia, and I love the place. Yeah. You've gone the other way. So obviously in Sydney we met because you were back visiting family, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just there for a month holiday with mum and brother. Well, my dad was there as well, yeah.
Awesome. So when did you move to London?
I moved in 2016, in July 2016.
And is London your home now?
London is my home now, absolutely.
And you won't go back, you don't think?
To live there, probably not. I can't think of any reason why I would need to go back there. If it was in regards to some business opportunity, potentially. But personally, for me, it was a step up. Like Sydney's great, don't get me wrong. It's very, very laid back. I'd say this to a lot of people. It's an easy life there. It's a good life. that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for an easy life. I'm looking for a life that I'm able to kind of push myself to work a bit harder. Like here in London, I find like there's such an extreme again where you've got so many like homeless people struggling to pay rent, and then you've got the other end of the spectrum, which is very, very successful people with lots of money. So yeah, like for me, it was kind of just like, where am I going to go? In Australia, you don't have those extremes. You've just got like middle class, like that's it. So to me, it was kind of just like, take it to the next level. I didn't know if I was going to be here for a week, 2 weeks, a month. I came here just kind of wanting to discover more, and have not looked back. I started my business from scratch again here. I've been working with so many people. I've got so many projects that I'm working on myself. And yeah, now I can live the life that I wanted to live a bit more, and also just be a bit closer to the rest of the world. So I've got family in Spain. I'm able to travel a lot easier. In Australia, you don't have that luxury. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to shoot off to Paris for the weekend. You can't do that. Everyone does that here. So yeah, that to me was why I wanted to change.
Do you miss the weather?
No. Yes, I do a bit. So days like this, mate, it's great today, I gotta say. One thing of the weather, everyone always brings up the weather. It's so much more consistent here. It's like, it's winter, it's cold, it's summer, it's hot. Like, that's consistent. In Australia, it's just like, you wake up, it's a beautiful day. You go get your motorcycle helmet, and it's pouring rain next, like 5 minutes later. And then I'm like, great. So I'm just like, it's just back and forth. And like, it's like in winter, it's a different kind of cold. In summer, it's a different kind of hot that you've got here. Mosquitoes was a big one as well. Like, oh my God, like, you really want mosquitoes 3/4 of the year? No, thanks.
Nice. So you come here looking for more. So obviously you're a great candidate for the Be More podcast.
Yeah.
What is it you're looking for? Like, what are your goals in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, have you got some big goals? Share them with the listeners, because I think seeing someone so open-minded and with a vision will just inspire people. So what's on the horizon?
Look, to me, I've always been in the fitness industry. I'm always going to be in the fitness industry. I'm taking more of a business pathway when it comes to that. So I really like working with people face to face. However, I would eventually, in 5 to 10 years' time, be having people working for me, and I can teach them what I've learned throughout the years. Kind of push my message again with the whole health, physique, performance. So that's what I encourage at the moment, is getting people to improve their health, whether that be through nutrition as well. Change the way they look as well, so the physique aspect, and then the performance aspect is able to kind of be better in the gym. Now, yeah, like I said, I want to take more of that business aspect, so I can actually have people working for me. I can hopefully open up a few gyms as well, and take on a higher volume of people. So I think the quality sort of factor of my business is quite good. I just need the quantity now to take over.
And how long have you been doing personal training for?
2012 I started my business. It was 6 years. Yeah.
Nice. So you're getting near the 10,000 hour rule now, aren't you?
The what, sorry?
Have you heard about the 10,000 hour rule? Have you read into that?
No, I haven't.
It's like a written rule that a lot of these uber intelligent guys have said. The 10,000 hour rule is where you get to like the era of mastery in your whatever you're doing.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're obviously hitting mastery now, and you're like, right, now I need to outsource, help more people, teach, and then obviously you create that ripple effect. Whereas when you first get started, you can't even imagine hiring someone. You're like, I just need to get good at the smallest thing, you know. But obviously you've been on courses, you've worked with thousands of people now, so you've got to the point where you've probably done 10,000 hours of personal training. So I think it's super important to listen. I get a lot of people who listen who are a lot younger than us. So like, just stick to it. Like we have, and like we've both been PTing since the same amount of time, I think.
Yeah.
And if we look back when we first started, we probably couldn't imagine where we are now.
Yeah.
With regards to any of our business, with regards to how many clients we've had, getting great shape, the amount of transformations we've got, like how much we charge per hour is probably about 5 times greater than when we started.
Yeah.
All these little things, like you can't really see it when you first get started, but just don't quit, because there's been times probably where your business has been difficult, where you've maybe not had like many clients, or you've had a lot of cancellations. So like, as a personal trainer, this happens, right? Have you been self-employed the whole time?
Have I been what, sorry?
Self-employed the whole time.
Yeah, since 2012. Yeah, it's always been self-employed.
Yeah, same. So if you don't have clients, you don't get paid.
That's right. Yeah.
And has there been periods in your business where you've been quieter?
No, yeah, absolutely. I've been I learned quite early on when I started my business about the whole cancellation sort of thing. So I was quite diligent when it got to that in regards to having sort of my 24-hour rule as well. So I had a lot of people who would kind of cancel or whatever, but they were very, very clear on the 24-hour aspect thing. So for me, I was still able to run a business and not have the anxiety of thinking, is this person going to show up? Am I going to get paid today?
Yeah.
I took that in very early. So if you do have any listeners who are just kind of want to start in there, I say go for it. Not one time in my 6 years as a PT have I had someone have a problem with a 24-hour notice period. Not one person.
No, never. They never do. I think I spent the first year. Well, I was never fully booked, put it that way, in the first year or two.
Yeah.
And like most PTs don't last 2 years.
Yeah.
So if you look at how many PTs have you seen come into your gym and leave since, like it's like a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
So I think we both would recommend the career massively because it's the best job in the world to us. But at the same time, don't get in it because it's going to be easy, because it isn't.
Yeah.
And you have to, like you said, be prepared for the days where you are going to feel anxious. Is your client going to turn up? Are you going to get paid at the end of the month? Are they going to sign up again for another 10 sessions or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
And it's just, don't focus on those things. Focus on just delivering a good service. Focus on self-development. Keep getting better in what you do. And like you said, you will hit that 10,000 rule. It might take you 5-6 years.
Yeah.
But then once you do, like I can imagine you've got a waiting list longer than your arm now, and you've got more people working underneath you or with you now that you're hiring. So it just shows like what you can do if you just are persistent and just believe in yourself that it will come together no matter what happens. And obviously you're a good example of that. And you've even come all the way over from the other side of the world to go and demonstrate that. Which is super cool.
Yeah, it's taken 6 years from when I've started in Australia. I've only been here for 2 years, and only now am I actually hiring people to work for me as well. So, like you said before, when I first started, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to hire anyone. And now I'm at that stage where I've had to actually get other trainers to work for me. Yeah.
Exactly, and you probably never imagined that being possible when you were having sessions that were cancelling, or when you had clients who were just like rubbish on their diet, not coming up to training sessions and just being generally negative. Where I can imagine now you've got high-end clients who are always positive. So it's just a journey that you've got to go through the trenches to get to, and it's the same with any business and the same with any kind of endeavour, which is awesome to see you doing so well, mate. And I'm glad you like it over here with the Palms. Are you watching the game tonight?
No, I'm not watching the game tonight. I've got some work to do. But I was watching the Spain-Portugal game the other day. It was incredible. Of course.
So are you mainly following Spain then in the World Cup?
Yeah, I'm always patriotic. I was actually born there, so I was born in Spain, and Mum is Spanish, so I'm very patriotic towards Spain, especially when it comes to the World Cup. All the way for Spain.
I can imagine London will be going crazy today.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And you can literally see Wembley from where you're sat as well, can't you? Which is pretty cool.
I'm actually looking at it right now, so yeah.
Ed Sheeran was there at the weekend, wasn't he? So I imagine there's people everywhere near where you are.
Sure, but the arch they got going always kind of changed colour depending on. So when the royal wedding was on, they actually put red, white, and blue to represent the royal wedding. Whatever teams are playing, they usually put the colours of the teams playing as well. So it's actually quite nice for me. Yeah.
Awesome. So one last question, mate.
Yeah.
You're sat in Starbucks. Do you drink in Starbucks or not?
Do I have what?
Do you drink in Starbucks?
Not often, but yeah, sometimes.
Where do you go in London? What's your favourite cafe?
There's just a local one across the road from my gym called Street Eats, but there's a Nero and Starbucks nearby as well. I pop into sometimes, not fast. Yeah.
So you're in Starbucks.
Yeah.
And your 18-year-old self walks in. Obviously, he'd be in Australia, but he's in London today.
Yeah.
Do you go up and offer any advice, or would you just let him cruise through like you have? Like, what would you have said to him? Would you maybe have tried to encourage the vegan diet sooner, or do you feel like everything's happened at the right time?
I'd like to think that I'd encourage a vegan diet sooner. In regards to sort of business and changing my life right now, like I kind of think that I'm quite happy where I am. I'm quite happy with what I've done so far. Like before I moved here, my actual choice was, do I invest in a property, get a property investment, or do I move to the other side of the world? I think I made the right decision. Like, I made a decision to move to the other side of the world. So I don't think I'd need to change anything in regards to my 18-year-old self there. Thinking about it, like, I think I would probably just tell him to not give up and just keep doing what he's doing. Like, it's obviously working for what I think it's working anyway. And yeah, just be consistent. Just with anything. I think it goes for anyone. If you really want to achieve something and you know it's the right thing to do, then go for it. I think the people that give up actually truly believe that they're not doing the right thing, or it's not gonna be successful for them.
Nice work. Yeah. Any books that you'd recommend, like a top book? Because it sounds like you're like very well studied in self-development.
I think I don't know. I like to learn different ways, but I have not that I read it regularly. I've been reading The God Delusion. That's a whole nother topic for me. So I actually was raised Muslim, and now since I was 16 decided I wasn't interested in being religious at all. So the God Delusion for me was a big eye-opener in other ways. And like I said before, everything's interlinked. So I think when I learn about that, I can actually I learn about sort of veganism a bit more as well in regards to culture and history. And then, of course, that kind of waves into my training in the gym and then me as a person. Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. Where can the audience go to find you and follow you on Instagram? And
my Instagram's in Spanish, but it's Bebe de la Selva, BEBE_DE_LA_SELVA. And yeah, no, my Facebook's just Adam Saez, as is. I've got a personal page. You can send me a friend request, or I've got my athlete page, I guess you could call it, where I link everything from my Instagram to that page as well, so you can kind of follow me on there.
Awesome. And you're based in London, aren't you? So anyone who's based in London and looking for a PT,
yeah,
jump on the waiting list, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Top man. Cheers, mate.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, bud. See you, mate.
See you, mate.
Thank you so much for listening, guys and girls. I don't know about you, but I found that hugely insightful, and I know for a fact that, not sure when, but probably once the barbecue season is over, I'm definitely going to give vegan a go for a month, just like Adam did. And I will, like always, document everything that I found that comes with the benefits of doing that. So I'm excited to do that. Thanks again, Adam, for coming on. Be sure to go and check out him on Instagram, give him a follow and share some love. And yeah, let us know what you think. Comment in the section below on whatever platform you're listening to the podcast, and let us know what you think and what your opinion is on the vegan diet. And yeah, hope you have an awesome week. We've got some more exciting guests coming soon. I will see you in the next episode. Oh, and also, if you can, make sure you haven't already, hit subscribe. Episode 30 now, we're over 5,000 listeners. To me, that is mental, and I want to keep growing it, and I want to keep growing the Be More attitude and mentality for people to go out there and be more and take exactly what they want out of life and just literally crush every single day. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.